tired of starting all your solos the same old boring way? Yeah, I was there too. It's normal, and all of us guitarists have felt the same way over the years with our playing. But by the end of this video, you'll know 7 iconic ways, taken directly from your favorite songs and solos, of starting your solos the best possible way. Plus, we'll go into how and why this works. And no matter if you're a beginner or a pro, you'll learn valuable things today that you can take with you the rest of your guitar playing journey. Usually in rock and roll, we start very strong right on the downbeat, but others may start before the downbeat with a lick or a melodic phrase leading into that downbeat of the solo. And probably less common than the other ones is coming in after the downbeat. It's not very common, but it's something to consider at different times. But nonetheless, all 3 main ways of starting your solos are very useful and important for you to know. We're gonna be taking a look at solos from Neal, Schon of Journey, the Eagles, Slash, Angus Young, and Jimi Hendrix. We're gonna start off with looking at 3 iconic solos that start before the downbeat with a lick or melodic phrase leading into the actual beginning of the solo. And the first one is going to be Don't Stop Believin' by Journey. This is what it sounds like. All right, this one is awesome. Neal Schon's a beast, a legend, incredible songs, incredible solos. And he came in right here with a fury of notes, landing really, really strong on the downbeat at the end of the phrase. The start of the solo really starts here on the 16th fret of the high E. We're in the key of E major, and we're really just walking up the major scale, starting from the 2nd, and we're walking up the major scale until we land on that G sharp with that bend. The notes look like this with the pinky, 16th fret of the D string, and then on the G string we're getting 13, 14, 16. B string we're getting 14, 16, 17. High E we're getting 14, 16, and that 16 is going to be a half step bend, and then we're going to resolve it back. So we're bending up a half step, then resolving it down. That bend on the 16th fret of the high E is the downbeat. So this run is before the downbeat of the solo. There's a couple different ways we could do this. You could alternate pick it. You could pick the first note of each string and then hammer on. Or you could do what I typically do, which is economy pick it. When you economy pick, it's going to go down, down, up, down, down on the B string 14, up, down, down, up. You can alternate pick it starting with the downstroke. Pick the first note, so pick, pick, and then we could hammer on, so go pick, pick, hammer, hammer, pick, hammer, hammer, pick, pick. All 3 options of picking that are very, very usable. So that's the starting lick. I want to go through a couple different examples of taking the same concept, but making it unique. Because obviously we can take that note for note and use that in our own solos, but we really need to take the concept and move it around to see what we can do to really expand upon our playing in solos and be creative with it and make it our own. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually take the same exact kind of area of the fretboard, but instead of the major scale, make it the pentatonic scale. It would end up looking something like this. I'm seeing that we're in what I call position 3 of the pentatonic scale, starting on the same note, following the same sequence, but we're taking the major scale notes out. So we're getting this D string 16 to G string 13 to 16, B string 14, 17, and then the high E's is the exact same. So we're getting... I really like that. It's a cool way to start playing. I'm economy picking the first string change. So I'm going down on the D string, down on the G string, and then I'll alternate pick the rest. So down, down, up, down, up, down, up. That's example 2 if you're following along on the tab. We could move that with different pentatonic boxes, the same sequence. We get something like that. We could also do the way Neal Schon did it with the major scale, but move it down so we get something like this. So we can learn a lick from a solo, but then move it all over, and we can manipulate it with the pentatonic or the major scale, and also moving it in different positions. We can move it different string sets. So there's so much we could do, but this is one great way to start your solos, is just do killer runs like this. There's one more epic variation that I did based off the Don't Stop Believin' solo. It can be very much used in hard rock or blues, and that's going to be over on my Patreon. So if you're interested in the tab for today's lesson, or also some bonus little licks, the link is down below. Go check it out. All right, solo number 2. Sorry, I got a little carried away with Journey, and I had to add this one in. This one's epic. It's the beginning of the Lights solo. It sounds like this. Ooh, I had to grab a strat for this one. Let's play it one more time. Again, just like he did in Don't Stop Believin', the start of the solo is on that bend. So in this case, it's the bend on the 12th fret high E. So this is in B minor, D major, pentatonic, all pentatonic, depending on how you look at it. I think this song's probably in D major, so I guess you could say it's D major pentatonic. I call this zone of the fretboard. We do this all the time. Everybody kind of already knows this, most likely, but I call it the octave sweet spot, and it's a great way to start your solo. It just sounds awesome. He could have just went like this, but he's like, let me start a little early and do this awesome walk-in. All right, so what is it? Let's dive into it. We're kind of right here in this position 1, B minor, D major pentatonic shape we all know and love. Starting on the A string, sliding 7 really quickly to 9, the A string. And then we just walk up the pentatonic on the D string, 7, 9. And then the G string, 7, 9, quick slide to 11. So then we go to the B string, just following the pentatonic scale. B string, 10, 12. And so we get this awesome bend. It's kind of weird though, because his ring finger's already on the 12th fret B string, but then he jumps to the high E with his ring finger for that bend. So it's a whole step bend on the 12th fret high E. So he does it again. So bend, release, pull off, pick 12, 10. Oh my goodness, that's so great. That's a great way to start your solos, whether it's blues, rock, maybe country. Probably not metal, but that works all the time. It sounds great. Now, like I said, this is based in that octave sweet spot, I like to call it. You see all of the guys, you probably already do this yourself, walking up this kind of pentatonic zone. It's just, it works so well. It sounds so great. Let's take that same concept though and spice it up, make it a little bit more unique for us, and have it as a different option for us to kind of use in our solos. If you're following along in the tab, this is example 5, and it's gonna sound something like this. All right, let's hear it slowly. We're in A minor pentatonic here. Oops. Oh my goodness, I love that. It's just, it never gets old. So A minor pentatonic, we're starting down here on the 3rd fret on the E string. We're going pick on 3 of the low E and then hammer 5. A string, same thing. Pick 3, hammer 5, but then slide 7. Now, why do I call this the octave sweet spot? Because actually, we just played the entire lick. Now, all we're gonna do is move it into 2 more octaves. The second octave there's on the D string, 5 with a pick, hammer 7, G string, 5, hammer 7, slide 9. Now we're going to the B string, the next octave, 8th fret of that B string. Pick that, hammer 10, high E, pick that, hammer 10 again. And then we're gonna bend that same note. So instead of doing a slide there, we're gonna do a bend like Neal Schon does. Bend, release, and then hit the 8th fret. Now, if you even want a more epic way of taking from light solo and making that intro lick even cooler, check out my Patreon. The link is down below. All right, I kind of got to be careful with the next one. I definitely can't play it. I've tried to do a cover of this in the past, and they like muted my audio and deleted the video, basically. Hotel California. It's epic solo. The beginning, super epic. It sounds like this. Let's dive into it. B minor, kind of pentatonic zone right here. And we're starting on the G string with this epic little slide up. Hitting the 9, quick slide to 11, very quick slide. Down on the 10th fret, up on 12. Then we're going to pick 12 again and do a minor third bend. So the pitch should hit the 15th fret of the B string pitch. We release that. Then we pick 10, 12, and then that phrase in the song goes back to the G string 9th fret. We don't have to do that, of course. Right? I say we, in context, we probably want to just do something different. We could just end right there on the root, the B note right there. That's a short and sweet one. Mess around with ending on a different note, but the downbeat is that huge bend on the B string, and it sounds so awesome. So mess around with that, be creative, and find some different ways of taking that same concept and moving across the fretboard. I mean, it could be as simple as... Right, so have fun with that, be creative. It's a great way to start your solo. All right, the next one, example 8, if you're following along in the tab, is Sweet Child of Mine from Guns N' Roses, Slash on the guitar. Sounds something like this. I think the original's a half step down. I'm in standard right now, so it might sound a little weird, but we're in E minor right now. E minor pentatonic or E minor because we're actually throwing in the F sharp, but we're starting off with an epic bend right on the downbeat. So we're moving on to the licks that start before the downbeat. We're moving to licks that land and start right on the downbeat, very strong. Right? So we're in second position of the minor pentatonic zone right here. Ring finger on the 17th fret of the high E with a whole step in. And then we get this little phrase. So that's 15 with an upstroke, down on 14, and then a quick hammer-on pull-off with a middle finger back from the 15 back to the 14. And then we just resolve it right here on the root note here, 17th fret of the B string. Now, example 9 here in the tab, I decided to move it to A minor and show you how we can take the same exact concept and use it anywhere we want. So like I said, we're in A minor now. Bending the whole step on the G string 7th fret. Then going to 5, 4, hammer on 5, pull off 4, and then we just resolve. Shoot, we can mess around with resolving to different notes. You know, we can have fun with it, but we can do this all over the fretboard. This is one that you probably wouldn't think of, but this is the same exact lick, note from note. This right here is example 10 in the tab. Still an A minor pentatonic, but we're moving it down here an octave. We probably wouldn't start our solo necessarily like that, but we might. But we could also end some cool licks, so we might do something like this. Right? You probably didn't know that was the same exact lick that's in Sweet Child of Mine. A string, 5th fret, whole step bend, and then going to C note on the 3rd fret, back to the 2nd fret, quick hammer on pull off, and then we can resolve. Now the next one for me is probably one of the greatest rock and roll solos of all time. It's just like, there's so much great stuff in this, and it's very relatively simple. This is You Shook Me All Night Long from ACDC. Oh, that's so great. It's just classic blues rock and roll right there. Whole step bend, 5th fret G string. What I love about this is he just lets that thing ring. And then classic blues lick here. Now this is one of the secret sauces right here, is this pre-bend back on the G string 5th fret. A lot of guys miss that pre-bend. Release, pull off the 3, and then we end off by just going. You see a lot of blues guys ending on the 5th there. In this case, it's the D note. You see a lot of guys doing that at the end of their licks. He does it right here in this awesome rock song. So, and then D string 5th fret to A string 5th fret. Oh, it's an epic way to start your solo. Let's move on to the next one. All right, this one's going to be the last of the stolen from a song kind of solo. This one's from Jimi Hendrix, Voodoo Child, the first main little solo, and it sounds like this. Had to do it. That one's so awesome. Now, I think the original is a half step down, but we're in standard, so it might sound a little different. But we're in E minor pentatonic for this, starting on a killer epic bend on the downbeat on the 15th fret of the B string up a whole step. And it's the first little phrase sounds like this. Oh, I love that. So just an epic bend. Now, why that bends up in the air, we're going to pick it again and do. So we've got that bend. So that pick, bend, pick again, release, pull off to 12. And then we pick 15, pick it again, and bend it up a whole step. Then we bend the note again. And do this. So there's kind of 2 sections of this. So we do that bend again on the second part here. Release, pull off to 12, and then we get this. So that's I'm using my middle finger on the 14th fret, and we're doing I don't know if he's doing a slight bend or a whole step bend. I kind of notated in the tab as a whole step, but it might be not that. Just kind of see what sounds cool, right? Back to the 12th fret of the B string, and then a quick hammer on the 15, pull off to 12. Then we go to the G string again and do a whole step bend. Release, pull off to 12. 14 on the D string. Back to the G string 12, 14, and then I believe he does a major third bend before ending it right here on the 12th fret of the G string. So the first part, and then the second part. Man, you start your solo with that lick, and it's gonna be epic, guaranteed. Now, in reality, what makes the start of your solo epic, like all the legendary guitar players, is being able to fit it to the song. Melodically, rhythmically, and emotionally. One of the best things that you could do is go listen to your favorite songs and solos, learn and practice how to play them, but then take a step back and listen to the music as a whole. Be aware of what happened before the solo, during the solo, just the overall song. Notice the emotional and energetic state of the song, because the only way to start your solo perfectly and uniquely is to lean into what the song wants. Now today we checked out some iconic ways to start your solos, and these are tried and true from legendary songs that we all know and love. But without being able to lean into what the song wants, you're not gonna be able to start and play epic solos. Because truthfully, if you go listen to all these songs and you analyze what's the rhythm guitar doing, what's the bass doing, what's the keyboard doing, what's the drums doing, are there drum fills, are there crashes, what was happening before the solo? Was it kind of a low point and then the solo built up? Or was it a high point and the solo went down? There's these different things that happen that really help you tell the story. Also, when it comes to finding what note is the right note to start the solo on, a lot of guys in blues rock, we just start on a killer bend to the root. And I have to go through a couple ways to really spice that up, because we just saw Hendrix do that. We bend right to the root. Some guys love bending to the fifth of the key. All those work good. Now, we often get bored of doing that because we're not fitting it to the song. Now, these are a couple things I've seen like Michael Schenker do and Jimi Hendrix as well, and many other guys. So let's take just a typical starting off or bending to the root like we saw in Voodoo Child. Right, we're bending the minor 7 right there in that minor pentatonic box up a whole step to the pitch of the root, which is our E note in this case. A couple things I see Michael Schenker do is he might do a unison bend, so where he's grabbing with his first finger that 12th fret, which is that E note, and he just starts off. We get that. Or he might even start off, I've seen him do this, where he starts off just right into it, like super, super epic, and he's just like... So he's just doing this bend, and then grabbing that note. Sometimes songs call for that, right? I've heard other guys do this as well, like where we're doing that unison bend, but we're like picking it, almost tremolo picking it. Right? There's a couple different ways. Another way that I love is hitting the note on the downbeat, doing that bend, and then hitting on the quarter notes of the song. So like... maybe doing a kind of crazy vibrato with it. Right? Maybe even picking it more than that. Also, we could put the pinky on the 15th fret of the high E and then do the same thing. So we're doing that same bend, but we're getting that going. Oh, that's awesome. Now, same exact concept works on the G string where we're bend into the 5th. That's probably the second most common way of starting solos. Right, we can put our pinky on the 15th fret. We can hit quarter notes with it. With some epic vibrato, we can hit the unison. We can go right into it. We can do like the blues thing. We can just go right into it sometimes. Right, we might do another way. As long as we're aware of what the song's doing rhythmically, harmonically, and what the emotional state is kind of asking of the song, like how intense are we coming in, or are we going to come in more laid back? As long as we're aware of that, we can start off with the basic ways of starting that all the guys do, starting on the bend to the root note or a bend to the 5th of the key. But by leaning into the song, it tells us what we should do. Should we do something stanky? Should we do the classic little... Should we do something like this? Should it start off with like an epic bend, but just super slow? That's 7 epic ways to start your solos like the pros. The key is obviously, learn and practice these licks and learn more licks if you want. But at the end of the day, you have to lean into the song and try to fit the song to the best of your ability. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.